the Jinn. It was late in the afternoon. The temperature wasn't low but high. It was September 22nd, 1980, and the state of the world in the Middle East was in terror. Iraq had launched a full-scale invasion of Iran. Their aim was to cripple them, because Saddam Hussein didn't want Iran as a dominant state, exploiting religious tensions, and then beginning the invasion. None of the information was properly conveyed to Tariq's family. They knew about the border disputes, but none of them had expected that their home in Khorramshahr would be approached by the enemies. Tariq's home had a very small courtyard. Other than that, they had just one room. That was all to their house, which had walls made out of muck and a shed out of wood. In the courtyard, there was a small wire. Tariq's mother was drying the family's clothes there. That was what Tariq had seen from his room before taking an afternoon nap. But when he woke up, he saw that there were soldiers around his mother. When they started to touch her, one of them grabbed her and, taking out his knife, he sliced her neck. Tariq's eyes were wide. He couldn't do anything because of too much fear. He just watched his mother being killed. But that was not all. During that moment, his father had also entered through the main door. That entrance was through the courtyard. He knew that Tariq was inside the house, but he didn't utter anything. Immediately charging the soldiers, they overwhelmed him in numbers. Tariq saw that the soldiers weren't using their AK-47s. Instead, they used their knives to kill his father. First, they slashed his face. His screams were everywhere. Tariq couldn't see the horrific scene. He turned and hid in one of the walls that had a hole, while that hole was covered by the bed. He could hear that the Iraqi soldiers had stabbed his father many times. Controlling his crying, he didn't come out from that hole in the wall at all. Staying many hours there, he ended up sleeping in that dark place until he heard the voice of his father's friend. His name was Majnun. "Tariq?" he shouted. "Are you here?" When Tariq came out from the hole, Majnun began crying. He hugged his friend's son. Tariq could see that he was carrying a box with him. "It's not safe here," said Majnun. "The war has begun. You have to escape this area until you get to Madain Saleh in Saudi Arabia. We can only move back, not forward. Going to the desert is easy, because the Iraqi soldiers have not arrived there." Majnun offered him the box. "What's in it?" asked Tariq. "And aren't you coming with me?" "No, I'm not coming," he replied. "I have to be here with my family. Besides, in the box, there are some sacred things. Only open it when you get to your place, not before. Understand that it's very important." Tariq nodded his head. Majnun then took him carefully to the end of Khorramshahr by some routes that Tariq didn't know existed. By this time, the constant nattering of bullets had also started. When his parents were killed yesterday, this wasn't the case. He thought things could only become more extreme from here. Tariq was right when Majnun farewelled him at the beginning of his journey, which was on a desert. It didn't seem to end when Tariq began walking there. He was tired until the evening arrived. Time felt too slow. His legs felt tired. He thought they would break. The scenes from yesterday kept intruding into his head. Tariq suddenly felt that his mother was no longer there. The same with his father. Both were hard-working. Both wanted him to have a good life. Now, all he was feeling was sadness and helplessness. Hunger was kicking in. Thirst was on another level. Suffering was paramount. Tariq prayed to God, wondering why life on earth was hell. He was even too dry to cry. Only praying was his option, until finally, his eyes saw a glimpse of the old ruins. It was after a few days that he saw some structures that were damaged, but still, Tariq needed shelter. Going there, Tariq just couldn't control his hunger. Looking at the box, he thought there might be something in it. Breaking Majnun's promise, Tariq opened the box. The illumination of gold coins hitting his eyes surprised him, But Tariq was immediately taken aback when a weird wisp started rising from it. That vapor turned into an evil spirit. It was tall and had vicious eyes. The teeth were monstrous, and the hands of the Jinn were too long. "My name is Iblis. My destiny was Madain Saleh, but you," he looked at Tariq, "broke the promise. You stopped me from reaching my destiny. If you want to be safe, just put the gold coins back that you have taken, and bury the box here in the old ruins." Tariq was freaked out. He had taken the coins, but he didn't put them back. Instead, he ran because he wanted to go as far away from Iblis as possible. After the old ruins, he saw some structures that gave a reflection of a small village. Going there, he saw a minute market where a few people were selling food. "Finally," said Tariq. He was way too hungry, but when he went to a stall, a thief had secretly come near his proximity and had barged into him. But it was only after a minute that Tariq realized his gold coins had been stolen. Now, he couldn't buy food, not able to see the person that had stolen from him. And in the hopes of finding him, Tariq was too tired. His body had given up, and he ended up sleeping in an old alleyway. Tariq's sleep was intruded upon when he started to hear loud chewing. When he finally woke up, what he saw baffled him. Iblis, the Jinn, was eating the thief. His body was ripped from the chest. The Jinn was now taking another bone out of him. In that attempt, the Jinn had ripped the thief's body in half. Seeing his power, Tariq started to cry and began running again. The second he turned to another lane, the Jinn's body suddenly appeared there. He stopped Tariq by holding his shoulders. Tariq had closed his eyes because he was too scared of him. But by this time, Iblis had taken the form of Tariq's father's friend, Majnun. "It's all right," said Majnun to Tariq. "You don't have to worry." When Tariq opened his eyes, he was still full of fear when he saw Majnun's devilish red eyes. He knew that his father's friend was not talking to him. It was the Jinn himself. With his mischievous smile and red devilish eyes, Majnun spoke, "Atamana an yakun madakuk afdal min waldik." It meant, "I hope you taste better than your parents." The end.